There's a certain level where I just can't anymore. Yeah, but see, the other problem with talking to conservatives, and we'll get to watching stuff here in just like 2 seconds. The problem with conservatives, and I need to like tone down my rage when talking to these people, is there's so many conservatives that are just lost. They are just lost, man. I don't know how to help them, you know? I don't know how to have a conversation with them. I don't know how to have any baseline, just like agree like, okay, yeah, we can have some mutual ground here because there's so much conspiracism. There's so much conspiracism, and I don't have the patience to learn about every single conspiracy theory that happens. And when you ask them just like the basic questions of something, usually they'll either refuse to engage with those things and just like spit out a million more points about the conspiracy theory that I don't want to talk about because you don't have any evidence for it. You just have things around the edges that if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see a connection. And that's so boring. Increase the rage, go full destiny? I don't know. Discord link just DM'd. Thank you. Perhaps they're not lost. You're just not equipped to discuss specific things with them. But see, that's the thing. I am equipped to discuss these things with them. But like, I would hope, I think that like the problem is when I have a conversation, I do genuinely, actually want the conversation to be good. No, I am not taking a call right now, actually. I'm going to turn my phone on silent. I want something like to... it doesn't have to be productive necessarily, but like I should get something out of the conversation. But like we can't get past the first part of the conversation where we both agree on the facts of a case and then like argue about whether or not they're good or not, because the facts just never line up. There's conspiracism on both sides, not unique to either. I disagree. Partly. There is conspiracism on both sides. And I don't expect everybody to not have any conspiratorial thoughts, because I used to be like that and I understand it, right? I've thought about this recently. I can't think of any conspiracy theories or things that I think are like super hush hush or anything like that I believe in anymore. Because every single time I dive into a conspiracy theory, it's always super easy to explain, right? Like I was preparing for a moon truther debate a long time ago that never came to fruition. And it's really actually super easy to prove that we went to the moon. It's super easy to prove that we went to the moon. But in order to like argue with a good moon truther, you have to know all these periphery facts. And if they had any curiosity in their mind, like whatsoever, they would already know those things. They don't try to disprove anything that they believe in, right? State of conservatives today.
There was a professor of medicine. I trusted doctors like I trusted my own parents. I trusted the medical community. I don't any longer. They've lost my trust.
Yep. Now you trust Joe Rogan and Donald Trump. Yeah. Now we trust podcasters who have every vested interest in lying to you about things in order to make more ad revenue and to sell you more products for whatever vitamin boost or whatever.
Okay.
If you want to talk about lockdowns and them being good or bad, I think at this point, I think the evidence is out that the lockdowns were probably too aggressive. I think most people agree with that. The issue isn't debating whether or not they were good or bad. It's that you conservatives assume that they were done maliciously. The entire world came together to maliciously lock. It's not irrelevant.
You know what?
The motivation for why you
malicious. I don't give a damn if it was malicious. It ruined societies. It ruined children's lives. You
don't think the intention of a policy matters when it comes to trusting them in the future? You don't think knowing if they were acting maliciously or not isn't important in deciding if you would trust them?
No, and by the way...
What is that? What do you mean it's not important to know if they're malicious when they're doing something? We'll watch the rest of this, please. We've got one thing that we have a problem with on my stream is focusing on one thing at a time and I can feel the ADD medicine kicking in. So only the outcome. Oh, so they're consequentialists now. Somewhere between 1% to 99% believe it, and I'm correct. So, I mean, you are correct. COVID was factually not safe for a wide variety of people. That's not a conspiracy. Well, COVID's not safe for anybody because it's a disease. We should all be fluent in Trump speak by now, though. No, we're fluent in it. We're fluent in it, but we shouldn't allow this Trump speak to become normalized. That's the issue. Yeah, I understand how Trump speaks. He just shouldn't speak like that. Not as the leader of the country, and not as a candidate for the leader of the country again, and not as a world leader. He shouldn't speak like the way that he does. He shouldn't do that. I don't care if everything that he says is hyperbolic. It's taken hyperbolically. Like you have to sift through 15 different layers of irony to get through it. You shouldn't have to do that with the president of the United States. The president of the United States should be clear, should be understood, should be consistent, and shouldn't get all of their news and their opinions from Fox and Friends in the morning, an opinion show. Like Joe Biden. Oh, well, Joe Biden's no longer in the race, is he? And Joe Biden is like, you know where he stands on things. You know what his policies are. Occasionally he'll mix up someone's name, but so does Donald Trump. The entire Republican Party is based on conspiracy. They are. He's the president you got elected. Yeah. And he's been the best president in terms of policy in my lifetime. He's gotten through more legislation than Donald Trump ever did, hasn't he? More bipartisan legislation in a constantly like split down the middle Congress, constantly split down the middle Senate, and he's still been able to get through. Brain dead guy is the best. Yeah. If my brain dead guy is able to pass more legislation than your like virile horse of a man who eats like McDonald's literally every single day because he thinks that his kitchen is too dirty compared to McDonald's, then yeah, I'm going to take the brain dead guy because he's actually able to get stuff done. Whereas your guy got through 2 major pieces of legislation. It was his tax bill. And what was the other one? Oh, wait, hold on. That's the only big piece of legislation he got through. The other one was appointing 3 Supreme Court justices that got Roe v. Wade overturned. Those are his 2 successes. Those are his 2 concrete successes in office. We should be a civil society where everyone is treated with respect. I agree. That is the ideal. Why do we have to compare the geriatrics? Because even on the merits of what they're saying, the geriatric on my side is on almost every conceivable front, minus like maybe his comedic timing, I guess, a better president than Donald Trump. You know what? I forget, because I always forget about Project Warp Speed, which was a success of the Trump administration, but Republicans don't want to hold on to that because they're all anti-vaxxers now. But yeah, that was unironically probably the coolest thing that Trump did in office. He was able to use the presidency to unshackle production and research and in pharmaceutical research and pharmaceutical testing for that research. And in less than a year, they were able to develop a vaccine faster than anybody else. Faster than anybody else. And they were effective, they were safe. And the Republicans, because it didn't get rolled out until Joe Biden was in office, the Republicans hated it.
Well, welcome. For people that are new, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Kick, I'm Sondsol. I am a political science student. I like to talk about politics. I like to argue about politics. We talk about all sorts of fun things on here like drama and politics. And I like to argue with people and chat about a lot of different things. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't like to shill. Also,